every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good afternoon. This is CoreTV News on the hour. I am Tolu Ojewumi. The Senate has unanimously approved President Goodluck Jonathan's request for a 6-month extension of emergency rule in the northeastern states of Adamawa, Borno and Yobe. The Senate demanded for a sustained military operation in all 3 states under emergency rule with a view to dislodging the insurgents in a move that tends to alleviate the feelings of senators who are opposed to extending the emergency rule. It says the Jonathan administration should introduce a Marshall Plan for affected areas. The Senate also encourages the President to send in a request of supplementary budget to meet military and security needs in the region.
Motion as read out by the leader of the Senate and seconded by the minority leader. Say aye. Aye. Again say nay. The ayes have it.
It was a decision that was expected. This was especially as the House of Representatives had earlier given its consent to the President's request. But the Senate's approval didn't come without a price. In fact, 8 conditions were handed down to Jonathan administration as a basis for extending emergency rule in the 3 northeast states.
We have requested that certain issues be resolved as quickly as possible. We stand shoulder to shoulder and strongly behind our colleagues from all the states affected. We take this in the same vein that we are all equally affected and that this is a national issue and not a sectional issue.
CoreTV News learned that Senate President David Mark gave his words to aggrieved senators at a closed-door session before they backed the move. The position of the Senate was later relayed to the media.
We also urged the President to prepare and submit to the National Assembly a supplementary budget to meet any financial requirements that will combat this insurgency, because we are aware that with what is going on now, maybe whatever we have put in the budget, which is due to be signed, I think, in a day or 2, if it's not going to be sufficient, that the President can bring in a supplementary budget so that we will make sure that we deal with this problem once and for all.
To assuage the feelings of senators who were opposed to extending emergency rule, it wants the Jonathan administration to introduce a Marshall Plan for affected areas. The Senate also encouraged the President to send in a request supplementary budget to meet military and security needs in the region.
Senators from the Northeast have acceded to President Jonathan's request for extension of emergency rule in Borno, Adamawa and Yobe, but say it is with a heavy heart. The senators say they are agreeing to the extension is on the basis that certain conditions articulated by them must be considered. Some of the conditions include a monthly briefing of the Senate by service chiefs, proper arming of soldiers, and that a supplementary budget be submitted to meet financial requirements to combat insurgency, among others. Senator Ma'aji Lawan says the envisaged Marshall Plan and Immediate Intervention Fund are the immediate measures that the states were waiting to see implemented. The lawmaker added that with constant briefing from the service chiefs, the Senate would ascertain if the extension was working, and if not, it would immediately call for its revocation. Bello Tuko says he's hopeful that with the extension approved, the federal government will bring the war to an end. And the chairman, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Ekpo Nta, recently says that stealing is not corruption. Some legal practitioners referred to the statement as a setback to the nation's fight against corruption. Judiciary correspondent has details in this report presented from our studio. Ekponta made the statement while hosting Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, referring Nigerians to go back to what is taught in school to find out the difference. President Jonathan, in a recent media chat, had said that 70% of what Nigerians refer to as corruption is stealing.
Both are interwoven, because if you say something is somebody is corrupt, corruption means so many things, you know, because typically it had to do with moral, you know, moral perversion. Somebody who is entrusted with something and he goes back to betray that trust, that could be part of corruption. Stealing, literally stealing, means taking something that does not legitimately belong to you. I think that's stealing. If you look at both definitions, they are interwoven. You understand? But if somebody says stealing is not corruption, then what is stealing? Because ordinarily you wouldn't take something that does not belong to you.
Chairman, Nigeria Bar Association, Ikeja Branch, says the Nigerian Criminal Code has separate prescriptions for stealing and corruption, adding that there are criminal offences with criminal consequences.
There are different sections of the law that makes provision as to stealing. Stealing is defined as a criminal offence under a particular section of the criminal code, just like corruption is also defined. That is the extent of the definition, the distinction, and of course the prescription of the minimum punishment you will serve if you are convicted when you have committed that offence. But both of them are criminal offences. There is no clear distinction in English language about corruption and stealing. They are all criminal offences, and there is no one of them that is a virtue. It's very, very important. We distinguish that also, because he was echoing what the president has earlier on said when he held a presidential chat 3 or 4 months ago. Making stealing or theft look at something that is a virtue. It's not a virtue. Stealing is not a virtue. Corruption is not a virtue. They are all criminal offenses that have what we call criminal consequences, for which, if you are convicted, you'll be taken to prison. And so none of them is something that anyone now should promote.
Another legal practitioner, Wahab Shitu, says though everyone has a right to freedom of expression, the statement credited to the ICPC boss is a major setback to the fight against corruption in Nigeria.
Stealing is a species of corruption. So to say that stealing is not corruption is not conceptually correct. With due respect to the gentlemen who are credited to have made the statement, I think it's also a reflection of the lack of political will to deal with the scourge of corruption that may have been responsible for some of these attempts to make this distinction.
The statement, which has generated confusion, has since been criticized by many Nigerians who say the agency should not make excuses for corruption in the country. The academic staff members of Lagos State University have declared a total and indefinite strike. The union says that ultimatums issued to the school management and the government to reverse certain decisions and policies were not adhered to. Education correspondent Tomi Ojo has details in this report presented from our studios.
The exorbitant hike in school fees at the Lagos State University is one of the reasons cited for declaring the indefinite strike.
As from today, Tuesday, 20th of May, 2014, we, the academic staff members of Lagos State University, are withdrawing our services to embark on a total, comprehensive, and industrial strike action.
It stated that apart from the fee hike, there are other demands that have not been addressed, saying all avenues have been exploited to avert the strike, but the government remained adamant.
First and foremost, the exorbitantly high school fees regime of the university, whose glaring effect is coming very clear with its negative impact on students' enrollment and academic staff career development. The non-promotion of many academic staff who are qualified and due for promotion for the untenable reason of no vacancy. The premature retirement of our members on the professorial cadre. The meetings with the Chancellor also made a lot of promises to the union. However, because of the peculiar position of the Chancellor, a number of the things he would have loved to do could not be done. We also had meetings with the Pro-Chancellor, Mr. Bode Augusto, who is the chairman of council. The first meeting was a town hall meeting on Tuesday, the 23rd of April 2013 at the new auditorium in Lasu, Ojo campus. The 2-hour meeting was called, and the Pro-Chancellor simply asked some questions regarding how to improve the university, and thereafter made some very useful and forward-looking suggestions. Questions were not taken from the union leaders regarding our demands.
The Public Relations Officer, Lagos State University, Kayode Sutton, says the management of the university is yet to be informed about the strike.
And as I'm speaking with you, officially I've not been communicated here that ASU has actually declared a strike. There are about 21 demands by ASU last year. And of the 21 demands, the management have been able to meet about 17 or 18 of it, leaving these 3 that I just mentioned. The issue of the Universities Act that was signed into law by the President sometimes in 2012. The issue of the supposed no vacancy, no promotion, I don't see it as being an issue here, because as I speak with you, about 256 vacancies were declared by this university exclusively for ASU.
Some students of the university supported the union, saying they are preparing to take to the streets of Lagos to protest the hike in the fees.
In Malawi, the electorate go to polls, but voters were angered by delayed voting. Details after this break. Please don't go away.
On the day list this morning, Nigerians encourage corruption, citing first up the punch newspaper. And Nigerian government calls for Okonjo Iweala's resignation. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper. The dailies every day on CoreTV News.
Nigerians continue to travel the city of Lagos.
There is still a one level of
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV.
A 24-hour news station.
You're still watching CoreTV News on the hour. I want to say thank you for staying with us. For more information on our news and other programs, visit us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @CoreTV News NG. Also on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CoreTV Space News. Now a quick visit to Malawi. Malawians voted closely fought elections, but polling was delayed by several hours in some parts of the country, sparking anger among voters. Impatient voters sang and shouted, with around 50 angry youths staging an impromptu mini-protest, carrying branches and chanting anti-government songs. Some 7,500,000 voters are to choose a president, lawmakers and local government councillors in the 5th democratic election since the end of decades of one-party rule in 1994. 12 candidates are in the race for the presidency, but pollsters say the victor will be one of 4 front runners.
That they wanted democracy, and every 5 years we come back and vote. So this is very important for me, because Malawians have the right to choose who they want to govern them. This nation almost bankrupt. I'm getting to the end of that 2 years when Malawi is at a better place. We have grown by 6% economic growth. We have fuel. We have enough food. we have harvested enough and have an overproduction of 1 million metric tons.
A big thank you to you for watching CoreTV News on the Hour. I am Tolu Ojeomi. Good afternoon. See you again on Top of the Hour.